Mhm. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, I'm sitting here chasing monkeys. Monkeys. I left the door open for 1 minute and they ran in and took a Tupperware full of coffee make. Anyway, good morning. Thank you for joining me this morning. Uh, thank you for getting up. You're here with me. Say hello. Say hello. I'd love to say hello back. As of right now, it looks like I'm talking to myself. So if you're new to this broadcast, my name is Reverend Denise Schubert. I am a New Thought minister from the United States, currently living and breathing and having my beingness in Hoedspruit, South Africa for 6 months and loving every minute of it. So I come to you on Saturday mornings. My work is really a life of power, life of spiritual power, actually. And we come together to remember that we're more than the circumstances, more than the news, more than what's happening in the world, that we are truly powerful co-creators, and that we can at any moment have a change of thought, a shift in energy, and actually bring more peace, more enlightenment, and more aliveness to the planet we live on and to our personal lives. So hello, Janelle, my sister, truly my sister, and Misty and Mary, thank you for checking in and saying hello. Always nice to see your faces. So I hope your week has been very good. My friends, dear friends, Eileen and Vinny, were here for 2 weeks and they have gone home. So I am here at Bush Baby, currently just resting, and it's not too much to do here other than to be in nature and to be one with all that there is. I'm currently looking at 12 guinea fowl, 2 Neolas, and about 6 very, very naughty monkeys. Hopefully they won't come and try and visit me while I'm talking to you. So let me speak a word to bless our time together, and we're going to talk about expectations today, hopefully to shine the light of kind of a power thought about expectations and how they affect us and impact us, how they affect and impact our world. Always a great thing. That topic came up, being inspired by the sighting of a leopard when we were on a game drive in Kruger Park, which is really a game preserve here, the Greater Kruger. It's almost all Kruger Park. But before I start, let me speak a word. Let me just bless our time together. So take a moment with me to take a deep breath. I know it's early morning for you. It's actually 3 o'clock here for me. So I've been up for many hours. Most of you are probably just woke up. So take the first deep breath of your morning and of your day, this glorious Saturday, this day that the Lord hath made. As we invite ourselves to turn within, to center down, to turn into that space and place within us that is whole and perfect, that space and place within us that is indestructible, that space and place within us that is the place and the space where we connect to each other, and we connect to all beings, all animals, all life everywhere, that we truly do live in a field of unity. And it is from that space that I just bless us, knowing that we come together in the name and nature of the presence of love, You can call it whatever you want the divine presence within us, the God presence within us, the Christ presence within us, whatever you want to call it. But whatever it is, it's true. And whatever it is, it connects us. And so I know it is from that place that our time together, spent together, is good. And that you hear what you came to hear. You, the time that we spend is worthwhile, and that we bless each other by our coming together in this way. And so for all of this and so much more, I give thanks. We let this be. And so it is. Amen. If you got my blog, if you get my travel blog, I send it out on Fridays. If you aren't getting it or haven't gotten it, you can get it at my website. You can sign up for it. It's very simple. It's deniseschubert.com. That's also the place where you can sign up for a coaching session, or you can donate to the ministry. But mostly it's where you can see all the pictures of these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful animals. So my sharing today has to do with, I try during the week to find a point of inspiration, something that will inspire me as a topic to talk about today. And it happened in Kruger in that we were, it's a full day trip. It was almost time for us to leave the park. And I just knew we were going to see a leopard. I just knew it. We hadn't seen one, and we were so close to leaving, and we rounded this corner, and all of a sudden we see a car parked in front of us, and we look into a tree, and there's a leopard just laying in the tree. And it was truly a very incredibly beautiful thing. But what it did for me is validate a little bit what I would call positive expectation. Like there was just kind of a knowing that that I was going to see it. So it started this whole train of thinking. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, is positive and negative expectation, but mostly positive. And we want to shift. If we're not living in positive expectation, we want to shift. And we want to shift because negative expectation or no expectation kind of acts as a barrier to life unfolding the way, one, that's supposed to unfold for you, and two, the way that you want it to unfold for you. I suppose we should start at the beginning, which is the science behind that statement, or the spirituality behind that statement, which is fundamentally that thoughts are things. Fundamentally, that we are participants in the world that has been created, not only our personal world, but our global world. That it's not like the world exists and we're just here to kind of try to navigate it for 70 to 80 years without bumping into too many terrible things. The science is that the creation of the world and the world are intimately connected, and we are the creators of the world. You are the creators of your world. So your negativity has one kind of effect on the world you're creating, and your positivity has another kind of effect on the world you're creating. Now, none of this is new thought, really. None of this is new science, really. I think as human beings, we're just finally evolving to a place where we can actually understand how the laws of creation work. So on our spiritual path, on my spiritual path, on your spiritual path, we are here to think differently. Dr. Ernest Holmes was the founder of the science of mind, philosophy, faith, and way of life. And his motto in his life was change your thinking, change your life. That if you don't like what it is, do something different. Now, expectation is pretty easy to talk about, because really the question is, do you expect what you want to come true? Do you think your dreams will happen? Do you think that what happens next will be good for you? Don't you? Or do you sit in negative expectation, which is, it could sound something like, it could show up if somebody wants to sell you a raffle ticket and you say something like, "Oh, I never win anything." That would be like negative expectation. Or if you're wanting a relationship, but in you it lives like, oh, there are no good men or no good women out there. That would be a negative expectation. And, we all understand how that comes to be because we're conditioned by our past and we're conditioned by what we've been taught. We're conditioned by our culture. We're conditioned by how our parents thought way more than you think you are, way more than you think you have been. So you have to really look. I remember at Dr. Reverend Edward Vilhune, many, many years ago. He's now the head of the Centers for Spiritual Living globally. But many, many years ago, he did this wonderful talk where he said, if you want to know how things get created, just pay very close attention to your mind. Just watch what pops in to your thoughts, because right there is creation. Right there is that thought becoming a thing. So, and most of those thoughts that just kind of go pop into your mind are not conscious thoughts. They're not, they are we would call them subconscious or unconscious thoughts. So no expectation. So many of us live in a space of not expecting anything, like just being, like letting life happen. But I'm going to say you have to be very careful there, because no expectation could be a way of emotionally and mentally and spiritually safeguarding against being disappointed. Like if you don't expect anything, then you can't be disappointed. Don't get your hopes up. It could show up like, I don't want to get too excited because then something will happen, and or we don't want to get too hopeful or too optimistic or too excited, because then something bad will happen. Now, this is not true. God did not set it up that way, so something bad happens if you get excited, right? We set it up that way because we live in a responsive universe. Hi, Michelle. So when the universe is consistently and constantly responding to you personally, and it's responding to 7 billion people personally and collectively. So your role in your own manifested universe, the way you people your universe with thoughts, is probably first and foremost. But what you think, your attitude, and your positive, negative, or no expectations also help to people the universe for everyone. You take 10 people who are negative, or 10 people who are angry, or 10 people who are fearful, or 10 people who are doubtful, and that's the kind of universe you're going to have. If you take 10 people who are some critter over here, if you take 10 people who are loving, 10 people who are generous, 10 people who are consciously cooperative, you're going to have a world that looks like that. So it's not like the world is what it is. The world is what we make of it. And that's also true about your personal circumstances. So you should be just exploring this for yourself. Toby, hi. Sorry, you guys. I'm here in Africa, and I'm here by myself, really, with no social structure. So whenever I see the names of all the people I love, I get it's like, oh yes, yeah, I could feel you in my heart space. So be looking to see where you might be blocking this, what I would call positive expectation, the expectation that your life is going to be good, the expectation that what you want will come to you, the expectation, all of that, all of the ideas that if you make affirmations, if you have dreams, if you want a new job, that all of that will come to you. Because if you one by one pull the weeds out of your garden, the garden of your life, if you pull out the negative weeds, the doubtful weeds, the fearful weeds, then the universe has a way, then the universe has an inlet into your positive expectations, reaching in consciousness everything that needs to be reached for the manifestation to occur. I just said a kind of a really big thing there, but let's go back. We'll go back again to the beginning. My mind and your mind are connected in consciousness. We're not separate. I'm not separate from you. It's not like you have this brain and I have this brain and we're foreign to one another. We do have brains, but I don't think the brain's about identity. The brain's like an organ of, it's like a radio receiver and sender. It's like a computer. It's not consciousness. Your brain lives within your consciousness. You don't live within your brain. Your brain lives, you live, your physical body is an expression of your consciousness. Your consciousness does not live in the body, which is why when you die, you don't die, because consciousness cannot die. The body may go, and it will go. I mean, there's a lot of evidence that the body will go. I don't know anybody whose body didn't go at some moment. So if that's true, and I'm going to assert that it is true in this minute, that your mind and my mind are connected, your mind and everyone else's minds are connected, your mind and God's mind are connected, then when you set an intention or have a dream or want something or need something, the universe knows how to organize that for manifestation. It knows how to move the molecules around. You don't have to figure it out. You just have to expect it. You have to anticipate it. You have to allow it. You have to make it welcomed. And for those of you who know me, a very naughty monkey over here. For those of you who know me, I manifest easily and rather effortlessly. That for those of you who really know me, kind of what I want happens. Now, sometimes it takes a minute, and sometimes we have to work through our own doubts and our own fears and our own worries and our own limiting ideas. Sometimes we have to work through the past. Sometimes we have to forgive someone. Sometimes we have to share it with someone. Sometimes we have to keep it quiet. But the idea that the universe is conspiring for your greater good, if you can embrace that as a context for your life, like the context for my life is that I'm going to get what I want, allows for you to get what you want. If the context for your life is things never work out for me, things can never work out for you. It's not luck. It's not because you're in the right place at the right time. It's not because God likes other people better than you. It's purely because you bring into your experience, into your circumstances, an attitude. I'm going to show you. Do you want to see this naughty monkey? Look, I have a very naughty monkey. Sorry. Probably made some of you dizzy. You were. Are you sure you don't want to come to Africa? Are you sure you don't want to come spend a few weeks with me here? It's never a dull moment. Hi, Teresa. Good morning, Teresa. Yeah. So it's very, it's easy in some ways right now for me because I actually am in a place where it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, right? So, and I'm kind of in a place without a lot of external stimulation. I'm kind of in my own little place here, but that doesn't change any of the rules of life. It doesn't change any of the rules of living. It probably just makes it easier for me to stay focused on what I'm staying focused on, right? Because if you're going to work, watching the news, having to deal with the whole conversations about guns and COVID and politics, it takes a lot of effort to return yourself to a centered place, right? Does it not? And it's very hard. It's very easy to think that somehow the world is out there and it just sucks, and you're over here and we're over here trying to live in it. So, but that's not really the case. The case is that nobody can manage your emotional state or your spiritual state other than you. Like nobody can do it for you. And so we practice, right? We practice. I was talking to somebody the other day, and on your spiritual path, almost the first step for anybody on their spiritual path is to forgive the past, to requalify the past, to have a different relationship with their past. So, and it's sometimes that takes years, by the way. Nobody does that just like that, because most of us, most people, most human beings have had some trauma drama growing up, some mis some abuse or abandonment or something. Most of us, 9 out of 10 people, didn't have Mother Teresa and Gandhi for their parents. We just had regular people who were also not spiritually mature. So almost everybody has to do something about their past, and that's really your forgiveness work. And also understanding, I'm going to tell you that ultimately, somewhere along the road, you will see that your past was perfect the way that it was, because your spirit, your soul, your essence, that part of you that is not your body, incarnated on purpose. Everything in your life is on purpose, and that there's a reason for those parents, those circumstances. This is a big topic, but ultimately you make peace with your past. That's the first step really on your spiritual journey, is peace with your past. But then we still have to deal with the future. And I'm going to say that I actually think that's the harder part. I think the future is the hardest part, because the future requires surrender and trust. It also requires that you walk the walk and talk the talk. So you can't really have it both ways. You can't believe that we live in a spiritual universe as spiritual beings, that the universe is friendly, and not live as if that were true. So the work gets just a tad harder to move from manifestation to allowing, because you have to really believe what you say you believe. And it's rough. It's hard, and there's all kinds of stories and all kinds of spiritual venues, but the universe throws up lots of tests along the way. Really? You believe that the universe is for you? Here, try this. You think that God is love? Try this. And we have to keep showing up, keep saying, nope, I have faith. Faith isn't faith if everything's working out the way you want it to. Faith is faith. Faith is really faith when it doesn't look like things are happening the way you want them to happen, or that your dreams will come true, or that you'll ever be happy. We, in one of the practices in New Thought, is that we do affirmations, right, and vision boards. So if you're sad, I would tell you, write some affirmations. My life is full of happiness. And you would say, well, but that's not true. My life is not full of happiness. I'm very sad. It's like, I know, but we're needing to change the wiring in our brain. So you keep saying, my life is full of happiness. My life is full of happiness. My pocketbook's full of money. My body is healthy and vibrant long enough, and everything will begin to align with that expectation. It may take a minute. It depends on how negative your negativity is. How deep are those roots in your consciousness? Take a breath. Everyone, just take a breath. So the work, I think that really just the topic for today is really that is for you to look. Well, first of all, you can just check and see, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied with your life are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how fulfilled do you feel? And nobody is watching you. You're not going to turn in a written report to me, but you could just answer those questions, because if it's not, you want to be pretty close to 10. You do. And if you're not, then just look to see where your thinking needs to be adjusted, where the words that you're saying need to be adjusted. Will Bowen is the author of A Complaint-Free World. And he said the most fascinating thing. He talked about how your mind is the manufacturer, and your mouth is the customer. And so when your mind, if your mind is manufacturing negativity or hatred or complaining, it doesn't really have a very strong effect unless you say it out loud. So he says, if you start saying things like, I have a happy life, if you start saying things like, I'm abundant, what will happen is your brain will start to manufacture something different. So he draws a direct correlation between your brain and your mouth. And I like that very much because if you try that, if you adhere to that, here's what's going to happen. You'll stop getting into pity parties with your friends. You'll stop complaining around the water cooler at work. You will not join in on conversations that bash or belittle other people, no matter who those other people are. You will begin to watch what you say. Kind of remember, did your mom say to you, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all? Wisdom of the ages, right? So you'll begin to monitor your own consciousness. And what we're doing here is we're expanding our consciousness. We're extending our consciousness. We're shifting our consciousness from worry, lack, and fear to surrender, faith, and trust. We're shifting our consciousness from negative expectation. Nothing good happens to me. Nothing works out for me. This isn't going to be successful. I'm not going to get the job, to positive expectation. Now, will it be instantaneous? I don't know. It could be. The spiritual laws and principles are instantaneous. I always say that if I could have the same relationship to life that Jesus had, I could probably walk on water too. Now, will I ever get to that same level of trust and faith? Probably I won't. I'm not going to trust it in the middle of the ocean. So the answer, I probably won't walk on water. But I firmly believe that if I did have that kind of faith and trust, I would and could. I think that's true about everything. So your job this week is to practice, just practice living in a way where you expect, you anticipate, you make welcomed happy circumstances, good news, things working out to meet and exceed your expectations, and to notice where you don't expect, where you need to work on it more. I think that's all I have to say. I think that's our message for this week, is to create a context for your life where you expect the rest of your days on this earth to be fulfilling, to be happy, to be prosperous, to be good. Can do, yes, can do. And if you can do that and notice when you can't, I kind of can guarantee for you that incrementally, as time moves on, you will have a more satisfying, more fulfilling, and happier experience. And so will everyone around you, because really the people around us don't want to hear us complain and don't want to hear us all the things we don't like, don't want, all the things that we expect to turn out bad. It's like, I think they're Debbie Downer. Debbie Downer. We want to be a Ursula upper. It was really corny. All right. Say yes. I can see some yeses to this. So let me just speak a word of thanksgiving for our time together and blessings. And again, I'll be here next Saturday. If you're not already on my travel blog, go to my website and sign up. If you want anything else from me, a coaching session, a prayer, anything, just email me at revdschubert@gmail.com. I want to tell you some very good news I got today before I pray, which is I finally figured out, after hours and hours and hours, how to pay $10 a month, $10 a month to have what's called a VPN so that I can stream Hulu. Now, this may sound silly, but it's kind of made a huge difference in my life to be able to watch, The Resident or Netflix US. So good news for me. Took me a long time, but I didn't give up. All right. So let's take another breath to end our time together. Just breathe into your heart space this positive expectation, this willingness to live life expecting all the good you can ever imagine coming to you. And don't feel foolish for expecting that. Don't feel silly for expecting that. Don't listen to your friends telling you not to do that. It's like step into the spiritual maturity of claiming for yourself the good that you are already preordained to have. And so as we turn within together, I do just give thanks for our time together. I give thanks for the relationship between us, whether it's close or not close, whether we're friends or new friends or old friends, because we are one. In truth, we are one. And so I just know that that I speak my word for each and every one of us as we go about our life this week, staying open to receive, staying open to receive, staying open to receive, to allowing all that good to simply pour into your experience, to notice when you're resisting and to release the resistance, to cultivate the faith and trust we need to believe and to live as if the universe is indeed conspiring for our greater good. We do live in a friendly universe that is on our side. And so for this and so much more today, I'm grateful. I just simply release my word, depositing it into the spiritual principles that make it manifest, that know how to clothe the word with flesh. So I know that it is fulfilled now for each and every one of us. So I'm grateful we let this be, and together we say, and so it is. Amen. Amen. All right. I'm going back to my monkeys, and I will be in touch. If not during the week, I'll see you next Saturday, same time, same place. Peace and blessings.